Oh, welcome to the Swedish Junior Hockey Podcast. Today's guest with a first-class backdrop from RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology, via Stockholm, Gustav Blom. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much.
So first of all, I got in touch with you through mutual friend Mike McCarthy with let's see, what is the Future Stars Academy, I guess is what he runs in Sweden, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And previous guest Kim Hilmarsson, who plays with Marine Nordiques, is through that group, and also Kevin Marx Norén, who is we just recently had on. So he's been a good source of good talent.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
So let's give a little bit of background. Who is Gustav Blom? I know 6'1", 185 defenseman from Trångsund, which I don't know where it is. Outside of Stockholm, probably?
Yeah, just outside of Stockholm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I'm 22 years old. I'm entering my sophomore year here at RIT College, D1 in the US. So yeah, I'm MIS, majoring in MIS right now at Rochester Institute of Technology.
What's MIS?
So that's Management Information Systems.
Okay.
So I didn't know what it was until I started to go to this school, but it's basically business and technology.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So here's the main topic that I want to focus on. We're not gonna. So you played in the North American Hockey League for New Mexico in Albuquerque.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not going to ask you to spell Albuquerque.
Please don't.
Because I couldn't myself. And we're not going to talk about Breaking Bad. Walter White. We're not going to talk about Walter White. But since you kind of came through D1 or through NAL into NCAA D1, I thought that would be a really interesting topic. A lot of Swedes. It's becoming more and more popular. We talked a little bit offline, and I'm a huge fan of the U.S. college system. I wish Sweden would have a similar college athletics. It would be awesome.
Yeah.
But since it's not there, why not come over here and so on? So, take us back. So you grew up outside of Stockholm, and I saw an elite prospect. When did you start playing for AIK or AIK?
So that was my U16 year. So Trångsund it's basically in Stockholm. It's southern Stockholm. So I grew up there playing with a lot of good players and a lot of good coaches too. It was a big emphasis on skills and skating. So I kind of built a foundation there in Trångsund. And yeah, I wanted to take the next step, and my goal was to get into a hockey gymnasium. But that's when I reached out to AIK.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't look at Leksand? I mean, just a little bit.
Oh, my parents wanted me to be close to home too, so that's a big reason. And
I had to get that in there. So
yeah, I'm also AIK fan.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
So I grew up when this was back in the day when AIK was in the Elite Serien, and I remember I didn't have a really strong affinity or I didn't think much of AIK growing up. For those, what I do remember, I mean, iconic club, one of the top clubs, iconic clubs, most common, most famous clubs, really very black, everything black helmets. I think they may have had yellow helmets one year, but really black helmets, black jerseys, black pants, black socks, and then yellow and white. It was kind of like if you watched Mighty Ducks, it was kind of like the evil team.
I like the colors though. I think
I like him too, and iconic. And then they have the fans, which is called the Black Army,
Yeah.
which is notorious for being gentle and meek and never causing any trouble. So, but if I pull up
Yeah.
your hockey gymnasium year, pretty astounding players that have played through there. Of course,
Yeah.
three NHLers in there. Ternström, Oliver Ternström,
Yeah.
Filip Broberg,
Yes.
Samuel Sjölund,
Yep.
who I'm not sure if he is a draft pick or if he's actually playing in Dallas.
Samuel Collin he's a draft pick. He's at Western Michigan right now.
Okay, and then another one, goaltender Jesper Wikman.
Yes, exactly.
And it says Vegas, did he play there last year?
No, he played in Western Hockey League last year.
Okay. I didn't know if he was a backup or something. So interesting. I love elite prospects. And it's cool to say. What was it like to play in? Were they the standouts, or who was the best guy on the team at that time?
Yeah, so I played in AK for a while. So it was from U16 to my first year of U20. So there was a lot of good guys that I played against. I'd say that Nils Höglander was really good when we were younger.
Oh
Same
yeah,
with Samuel Sjölund and we had a bunch of other guys like David Karlström that all played in the Tre Kronor growing up. So it was a lot of guys that stood out. I would say I can't just name one guy. It was
yeah.
just a super skilled team. So it's a great group of guys to be a part of.
Did you play TV puck tournament for Stockholm?
Oh, so that's the thing. I was playing Trångsund,
Ah,
Stockholm Seed. So I went to their camps there, and then I started practicing with AIK, and they were Stockholm Nord. So I made a switch to AIK right there in TV puck time. I don't know if that affected it at all. I don't really think so. But fortunately enough, I made it into Hockey Gymnasium at AIK, even though I didn't play TV puck.
that's
So
pretty rare. And
yeah, yeah.
and unfortunately, a lot of hockey gymnasium recruiting focus so much on did you play in the TV puck or not.
Yeah. It's a
But,
big thing.
but certainly AIK hockey gymnasiums and NIU, one of
Yeah.
the older ones and very established, very competitive, very well run.
Yeah.
So it must have been a tough environment to get in there though.
Yeah, it was like I said, just huge like skill, like so many skill guys, and it was good coaches too. Like everything about AK was just, it was for sure the right place to go.
So so I'm curious too, for those that are going to hockey gymnasium in Stockholm, different than, for example, in Färjestad or Leksand, Mora, wherever. Since you stayed close, did you live at home at that
Yeah,
time?
yeah.
Okay.
The travel commute, it took me around actually like 45-50 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just with traffic and everything. But I took the commuter train to school every day. So my first year I actually went to a hockey skola, like high school in
Yeah.
Sweden. So I brought my bag to Huddinge all the way, and then took on a train to Solna and practiced. So like it was a lot of traveling, but I made it work, and
Yeah.
I had friends that did the same thing. So but I know the guys that came from like elsewhere, like Philip Broberg, and yeah, another guys that came from Dalarna, for example, where you're
Yeah.
from. They got an apartment in Solna, so they could stay there and go to practice from there.
Which is one of the hard things about there's so many teams in Stockholm, but one of the challenges really is finding housing
Yeah.
around there.
Expensive.
So yeah. But so then you made a switch into to go to Mora.
Yes, exactly.
So that was 1920. So was that your
My
first
first,
year?
yeah, first year of
J20.
yeah. So I played for AK like 6 or 7 games. I don't remember exactly how many games it was. And then I felt like like I said, it was like really competitive over there.
Yep.
So I wanted to get an environment where I was like one of the guys that could play, like that would play every game and get more opportunity. So yeah, I reached out to Mora, and I came in contact with Johan Rosén.
Not a
And
bad coach either.
no, not a bad coach at all. And he told me about their program, and I went up there and practiced with them a few times, and I saw that it was world class, like everything there too. They have a really good setup with a rink, like it's close to the hockey gymnasium there too. I also had a few friends from AIK that changed teams to Mora the year before, so I already
Ah,
knew a few guys there.
so
So
I'm curious about that too. I mean, Mora now or last year was one of the top J20
yeah,
national teams.
yeah.
Were they on the upswing then, or
Yeah, I think so. We had they had a couple of like tough years um, in a row there, where they were like almost in relegation.
yeah,
And I think by the time where Daniel Hermansson came, and
yeah?
he's a really good coach, like, and also,
Who's now coaching the men's team?
yeah, exactly. So I think around there, uh, around the time I came there, I wouldn't say it was exactly then, but like it was just more guys that found interest in more, like they saw that guys from Stockholm and elsewhere came there. So yeah,
So
it's
what was it like? You know, had you been to Mora before?
no, I
No.
haven't.
I mean, it's a small town,
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
famous for Mora Vasaloppet, which is a long skiing competition,
Yeah.
and Carl Lars, no, what's his name? The painter. They have a museum up there.
Oh, yeah. I actually don't know. I went to that museum a couple of times though. I think it's something with said, no?
I forget. I have one of his. I don't have one of his originals, but I do have one in my living room. I have a, a replica of one of his paintings, but um, I it's gonna bug me now. But anyway, so
Yeah.
small town. The reason why I want to bring that up is a big difference. Stockholm and a 45-minute commute to
Yeah,
Mora, who has a Willys and a grocery store. For those that don't know, Willys grocery store and the rink and
yeah, it's basically it.
a pizza place.
Yeah. Well, it was a big change for sure. So, but I knew what I was getting into. Yeah, I had actually been there like before on road trips when we played them away. I
Yep.
think actually the weekend before I changed teams, I think I played them.
Oh,
So like,
really?
yeah. So I know it was a smaller town, but I wasn't like scared of a change. Like I like, that's why I'm in the States right now. I just
Yeah.
like experience new things, and it has its charm, like it's smaller, but it's also beautiful. Like you have the lake there, you have the church,
Yeah.
and also like you get closer to your friends. Like everyone knows everyone there,
Yeah.
so go to village, as you said, and like 20 people there. Like
Yeah.
it's different, and I liked it. So
And
yeah.
what was your housing situation there? Did you have an apartment or did you share like a student?
Yeah, so they're really great with that too. So they fixed apartment for us. So I got an apartment there first with another guy in the team. We lived like
Yep.
a huge apartment actually. It was really big with two bathrooms and everything. And
Nice.
yeah, yeah, I'm best friends with the guy now. So it was just a great guy. So I loved it. But then I had to move out. I don't know the exact reason to why. I'm not gonna speculate like around that. But I got myself like my own apartment after that. I think someone, or the coach or someone, had to move in there because our apartment was so nice. So
You flew too close to the sun and then
yeah,
you got too used to it.
Yeah, no. So I got my own apartment there. So I lived by myself after that, and that has ups and downs too.
Yeah.
Um, if you're just in your apartment, it gets lonely when you're in Mura, like in the middle of nowhere. But like when you have friends to hang out with and stuff, it's not bad at all. And yeah.
And then your second year in J20, was that, had you already graduated or had taken the exam, or your gymnasium exam then?
Yeah, so I think COVID hit
Yeah.
right when I was graduating. So I didn't really know what was going on. Like we didn't even know if we would have another season like next year because it was COVID was new, so we didn't know like how long it would stay. My dad is also a doctor, so he told me like all about it. Like it was even worse than it was on the news.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
I didn't think anybody had COVID in Sweden.
oh, exactly. But it was also really hyped, like
Yeah.
at times. But yeah, so he worked at a hospital, so he told me like there was like huge strain on
Yeah.
everyone at the
Yeah.
hospital.
But
So
I want to lead up to, so you know, a lot of people unfortunately don't set themselves up to be able to go to college when they go to gymnasium.
yeah,
Uh, so I would imagine that academics was important in your family. If your dad was a physician, it wasn't
yeah,
like you could have said, "Hey, I want to go and be a pipe fitter."
no, exactly. No, so I was in natural science,
Yeah,
so that's like the hardest sec or gymnasium course to take. So it also prepared me for now college, right? So I spent so much time, like if I wasn't at the rink or working out, because you skate like 3 extra times a week when you're in hockey gymnasium, I would just study. So I had like the physics, I had all the like hardest math and everything. So it took a toll on me for sure. Like I was really tired at some points,
yeah.
but it's been really important, or my parents think it's really important with getting a good education, and that's also why I'm in college right now.
So when did you start thinking about NCAA D1 and going over here?
It was actually a while ago. So just because education was so important, we were looking, like I was thinking about options and stuff because I knew that I couldn't really be in university in Sweden and play hockey at like
Yep.
pro level. So if I didn't make it like pro right away, I wouldn't like, it was like literally no option. Like I would have to start working and play hockey in Sweden. So the only way really was going like the college way. So I went actually to like a Boston showcase. I think it was my U16 year already in AIK with Fredrik Nygren, and yeah, I just tried like playing some American hockey, and I liked it. But like I didn't really know how to get there. Like there was like a long way, and like you said, like it's pretty tough to know, or like we don't really talk about it a lot in Sweden, how to make it to college.
Which is
So
why we have this podcast,
yeah,
which is why we're talking about it now, right?
so lucky, like you said earlier, I came in contact with Mike, and that was my second year in Mura.
Yeah.
So I played in juniors like a second year in Mura instead of going like right away to the States. I had to I stayed home in Sweden because we didn't know really with COVID and stuff what was
Yeah.
going on. And this season also ended earlier. Like we only played 12 games. So yeah, and then so I came home to Stockholm like right around then when the season ended, and I skated with my younger brother because we were not allowed to skate with teams and stuff. And yeah,
And
so
that's when you were skating with that group, with Mike's group.
no, I met Mike at one of my brother's skates because he's a goalie coach too, Mike.
Yeah.
So
We're
I
trying to
him.
get we're trying to get him on, and Björn Bjurling also
Yeah,
uh, on the
good.
podcast.
Yeah. So I met him there, and I told him like I really want to go to college. I don't know how to get there, and he said, do this and that, and come to my showcase this spring.
Yeah.
So that's what I did.
Talk about his showcase, because it's pretty impressive, and because it's a packed. There's a lot of good players there. It's a showcase, and there's a lot of scouts that are coming there, and because it concentrates. What I like about it is it concentrates. When I talk to scouts over here, they're really not interested in scouring Svensk Hockey TV games because they don't know who really is interested in going over there.
Exactly.
So the ability to go to that showcase is like, these guys are really interested in going to Sweden. I mean, going to US.
Yeah, that's true too.
Or they wouldn't be here, right? So
there's a lot of good players there. They come from like all different kind of places in Sweden. They played like it's really high level. Like I know some guys that go to USHL from there, some guys go to NAHL, and I know he has like above 100 like scouts and coaches from all the way from D1 to, I even know that some NHL coaches go and watch the showcase. So it's it's packed, like, and like it's a really good like TV team they're filming, and that's also how the coach or GM in New Mexico found out about me.
Okay.
So he saw me in that showcase, and there was like a supplemental draft that I actually didn't even know about. So I thought I was going to Jamestown Rebels, but I ended up going to New Mexico. So I just saw my name on like a draft list, and like 2 minutes later, I had a phone call from Phil Fox, my coach in New Mexico, and he said, "Yes, I heard you want to go to the States, and I just drafted you, so you're coming here." I was like, oh, "Yeah, nice."
So how much did you know about drafts and tenders and?
I didn't know anything. Like that's the thing. We don't really know anything here in Sweden. So um, I was kind of shocked. Like at first, I didn't even know there was a draft to NAHL, but
Yep.
it's really professional. The league, like everything. It's a business. It's not like juniors in Sweden, but like they actually live of that, the coaches and everything. So.
But then, and I don't know if you knew that, so what round did you go in?
I think it was either first or second. I don't remember.
So did you know that there was already tenders that people have been tendered? So being the first round draft pick doesn't necessarily mean that you're the first pick of all the recruits.
No, yeah, I know. I saw another Swedish name there, Wilmer Svensson, from Djurgården. So I was like, okay, so maybe I'll have a Swedish buddy there. I didn't even think much about it. Like I didn't know what it really meant. I didn't know like if it meant I was important or it meant I was just a guy that they just heard my name and picked me up. But he explained everything for me on the phone, and it seemed that they really like wanted me and that I just heard like good stuff about me. So they really took really good care of us too. So I came in contact with the other Swedish guy, Wilmer, pretty fast, and we were talking and seeing if I just wanted to know if he was going there or not, because I had like I didn't know him before. I played against him like when I was younger, but yeah, if I was gonna play with him over there, I wanted to get to know the guy, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, we came in contact and we decided to go.
So did you go to main camp or did you go straight to training camp?
So we went straight to training camp.
Okay. So you didn't have the opportunity. So when we're recording this next week, Malte Hasselgren, the episode, I don't know if you know Malte, but he ended up playing in Oklahoma.
Oh, really?
So he won Robertson Cup last year.
Oh, that's
in the
nice.
Null. But he was actually tendered and went to Lone Star Brahmas, also in the South.
Yeah.
But went to main camp and didn't know anything about main camp. Him and his brother. So we in that episode, which will be aired, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks before this one will.
Yeah.
We talk about kind of that how it was to get in and go through main camp.
Yeah.
And if you listen to Gabbe Westling's episode, he actually went to main camp in USHL,
Yeah.
and not being prepared for that, so you kind of missed that
Yeah.
experience.
No, they made pretty clear that we were gonna be like important players, so we
Yeah.
didn't go to the main camp. I don't know if you get tendered when you get drafted. I don't know if that's how it works. Or
No,
is
it's two separate things. So
yeah, so it's tenderly after, I guess.
actually it's before. Tender is the tender process is before the draft. So the first round draft is the 12th tender. So
Okay.
it depends on how they do it, but every team is a little bit different. Some let, and especially European players, they let through to go to training camp if they are truly recruited and they know that.
Yeah.
Some teams require you to go to main camp and fight it out with returners and draft picks and free agents. And a lot of people don't know that, which is why I think is important to talk about. Is just because you get drafted is not guaranteed you're going to be on the starting day roster.
No, yeah, for sure. I think we had the number one draft pick that year, and he didn't make the roster. Like, he didn't make the team.
Yeah, and
So,
and the other thing about, so you played. Let's talk about this a little bit. You played in the North American Hockey League South Division, which is
30 South.
It's the dirty South, but it's also very old. So North American Hockey League it's an old league. So you'd be on a last year player of juniors. This was your last year of eligibility here. You had an extra year in compared to Sweden, but you had just 1 year. So it's your shot, and but it's one of these things where it's a very tough league. It's old, it's physical, it's fast, and it's a little bit different than the North.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And
No,
the most of the Robertson Cups in the last few years have been coming from the South. I think Shreveport, of course, New Jersey Titans won it. Shreveport won it the year before that, and I think Oklahoma is also in the South now.
Yeah, we thought we would win in my year. We didn't quite make it. We lost in overtime and double overtime in the semis.
So when you came there, so you already have a Swede, so that's good. Did you get assigned a billet family right away?
Yeah, yeah. So I actually got to live with the billet coordinator, Jerry Hancock.
Okay. So talk about the billeting process, because a lot of people don't know what is a billet.
So a billet basically is it's a family in the States that basically open up their home. Like, you get to be a part of the family. They take care of you. They can cook dinner for you, and do all that stuff. So I was really lucky. I got a really good family. He was the billet coordinator. So yeah, I also got to live with the other Swedish guy. So we were kind of happy to we could stay together and do this thing together.
Where did you stay in there? So let's go into a little bit of detail here.
Yeah.
Did you have your own bedroom, or did you stay in the basement, or how was that?
So it was a pretty big house, actually. So it was not only me and the other Swedish guy. We had two other guys from Minnesota that lived with us too.
Okay.
Yeah, we all had our separate rooms to begin with, but later he opened up like another part of his house that he renovated. That was like a huge, like, it was almost like a separate house. So it was like a big room where both me and the other Swedish guy lived together. So like we shared room, but like we wanted to share room because it was our own little gaming setup there with a with a nice couch and stuff, our own fridge. So yeah, it was awesome. I love the setting. I think it's really good too because some of the guys are younger, so they don't really know how it is. Like, they haven't been living by themselves, so they don't know what to cook and stuff. So it's good for sure. Like, I really like the whole billet.
Was it so it wasn't difficult since you've lived independently before on your own in Mora?
Yeah.
It wasn't that big of a deal to now live with someone else under someone else's roof and
No, it was actually kind of nice. Someone took care of me again.
did they have kids? Did they have the family have kids?
Yeah, but they weren't living at home. They lived
Okay.
in they were going to college and high school. Like the oldest child or the youngest child played hockey. It was a girl at high school in
Okay.
so they were from Colorado, and then they traveled back and forth sometimes. So we only lived
Awesome.
with the dad actually.
Okay.
It's just him and all the hockey guys, and he was a huge hockey fan. So it was really fun.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So then you get into the season here. You made the team, and was it? You talked a little bit about the business aspects of North American Hockey League.
Yeah.
How quickly did you realize that, this is not Stockholm or Mora, Swedish, where everybody's,
Yeah.
arm in arm and, everybody's friends, but at the same time, that there's 30 guys on this training camp roster or something, and we're going to get down to 23 or 25 or whatever. And then, so, how was that people got cut?
Yeah. So we had our team practice and stuff, and everything was like nice, and everyone was being nice. It was really competitive. But I remember like the big wow for me was when we went and played the like or practice games or preseason games against Lone Star Brahmas away. So everyone was like wearing their practice jerseys, and I thought, oh, it's just gonna be a regular game. Like I've played a million games before. And I remember showing up to or take my first strides on the ice, and I just hear like the fans booing, like boo. I look around, it's maybe 3,000 fans on like
Yeah.
a preseason practice game. So it was something else. I had the mascot. They had a mascot too. Like I didn't know like they had mascots in juniors, but I had the
and
mascot.
and a big purple bull on the side of the arena, and
I was just standing like banking on the glass right behind me the whole game, and it was like I wasn't ready for it whatsoever, and it was like, okay, wow, okay, this is different. Like this is not Mura or AIK anymore. This is I'm in the States now. Like it's
oh,
yeah,
anybody drop the glove in the practice game?
probably like in the South there's more games where there's a fight than there's not.
Yeah,
So
but
I,
not Gustav Blom.
nah, not really. I'm I'm not really that guy.
Yeah. Oh,
Unfortunately.
good. So, and then pretty soon after the beginning of the season, you end up going to Blaine, right? Pretty
Yeah,
important. Talk about the showcase, the NAL showcase in Blaine, Minnesota. I mean, is that where you got your contacts with the colleges?
yeah. It would be. I was in contact with a few colleges when I was in Sweden too, because I reached out to them and let them know that I was interested in going and stuff. But in Blaine, what happens every year is that every single NAHL team, all team, goes to a super rink in Minnesota, where it's like 8 ice sheets, and we all play. I don't remember how many games it was. I think it's four. So every team's first 4 games of the season, we play in that rink. So like basically every single college scout is there
Yep.
to sit and watch you guys.
And pro scouts. I mean, there's right.
Yeah, there's just a
And
bunch of scouts.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, we played our first games there, and it went really well. I think we got some respect right away. We played good. I think we won three out of 4 games. I'm not quite sure, but it's different. Like that, we don't have that in Sweden whatsoever either. Like it's also Minnesota state of hockey, so it's huge there.
Did you know that this is where all the college scouts are going, and they put a lot of stock in that, right?
Yeah, no, I know there was gonna be college scouts there, and I remember I played a good game or something, and I was talking to a college scout right after, and so I was like, okay, wow, so they're actually here. It's just it's just this talk. So I better like focus and dial it in here now. And yeah, was just an amazing experience. So between the games and stuff, you could always go watch another game. So it was basically like 4 games going on at the same time. Yeah, it was just awesome. So
Yeah. So when did you decide to go, or walk us through now D1, NCAA D1. So explain what NCAA D1 is for those who don't know. It's not just when somebody says college hockey,
yeah,
there's a lot of different levels of college hockey.
yeah, yeah. So D1 is the highest level of college hockey there is. But there's different conferences. I play in the Atlantic division, which is, I say, it's pretty similar to the South division. It's really hard and fast. And yeah, so there's D3 too, which is not like it's good too. Like it's good hockey.
Yeah.
Mm. But yeah, it's the thing with D1 is that you're able to get athletic scholarship here.
Yeah.
So that was my goal. Like I wanted to get a good scholarship so I could study in the States, because it's like it costs a lot of money to study here. It's not like Sweden where it's free.
Yeah.
So I knew what I put myself into. I knew that I had to have a good year, and it was my chance this year, my only chance. So
Yeah. And a little bit of, explain to the facilities and you go in. How do you compare that to, for the guy that says, "No, I'm going to play Hockeyettan, third
yeah,
division in Sweden," right? I mean, you
yeah,
have staff, you have,
yeah. Where it's basically like there's so much money going into the schools and stuff. So it's basically playing in like an SHL team in Sweden. Like we
yeah,
have everything they have, and probably even more than some teams. Like we have our own gym, our own like training room with ice baths and everything, like a huge locker room. Get all the hockey gear you want and can ask for. So it's just, yeah, it's I can't believe it sometimes. Like
yeah.
it is a dream. Like it is a dream to be here, and I love every second of it.
Well, and RIT is not, you know, it's not it's not an easy school to be in academically. Let's face it, right? You could have chosen a less prestigious school from an academic standpoint. Okay, maybe it's not Harvard, but maybe it's not MIT, but it's up
Yeah,
there.
yeah, for sure. No, it's a really good and respected school here over here in the States. And I don't think I would be able to go here if I didn't like dial it in school back in Sweden either. So that's why
How's
I
it
said
how's
that
it been? How's it been to kind of get, as a student? Now it's a second year, it's a little easier. Your second year, if I remember right. First year was hard.
yeah. No, it's um like I know, like I said earlier, like I've always like been focusing on school and managing hockey in school, like from like earlier years. So I'm pretty used to it.
Yeah.
Like it was pretty hard because I took a break for 2 years, 3 years from school when I played juniors, and my gap year there
Yep.
in Mexico. So like first month, I remember I was like, whoa, what's going on? Like, I need a minute here to to breathe. So it's basically like it's school every day almost. Like you always have something to do. Like it's homework, or it's an exam we have in 2 days, one day. So it's basically my job, you could say. Uh,
Yeah.
I kind of like school too, so it wasn't. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah. All right. So, two things we want to round out. First, thanks for coming on. We've got a partnership with a Värmdö guy, James Reason. I know your brother plays in Värmdö, but it's got us hooked up with Target Aid. So, klubben i mitt hjärta, the team in my heart. Which one is it? Is it AIK? Is it Trångsund? Which team is?
I gotta say Tromsø there, because I still live there when I come home to Stockholm.
That's home, and that's
Yeah,
the jersey you put up on the wall, right?
yeah.
Awesome. So last thing is you're 20, you're 22 or 23 now?
22.
22. You met yourself 17 years old. You're 22 now and have a few more miles on the tire, so to speak. What advice would you give yourself as a 17-year-old, but you have that experience now?
I would just say trust the process and one step at a time.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
So
Because
don't try to bite off more than you can chew.
no, like we spend a lot of time just worrying about what's gonna happen next. And as long as you do the work, you're gonna be in the right place. Like it will everything good shape will happen to good people. So
Yeah.
you just gotta trust the process and go from there. Yeah.
Well, it's good advice for anyone, and hopefully, again, I think that there's a lot of positive in U.S. college hockey. When you're done, nobody can take that degree away from you,
No,
um,
that's
and you'll be part of a fraternity of. It's much different than being a graduate of a university in Sweden. I mean, nothing against the Swedish university, but I've never heard of anybody, kind of going to alumni parties, in Sweden. But I think that hockey, you can still go pro after your college career, just like you could have if you just went straight after juniors.
yeah.
But perhaps prepares you not just while you're earning a degree, now you can continue to work. You get older, stronger, better, and playing at an extremely good level, and you don't close any doors for the professional side, but it does put you in a much different situation and from a quality of life after hockey.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
and you can do that while getting better. I think it's something that more people in Sweden should look at, and maybe even starting when they make that decision to go to hockey gymnasium is maybe I shouldn't go the easy route and take a vocational track. Nothing wrong with that, but if I want to go to college, maybe I need to take a little bit harder classes, prepare myself, get academically eligible, and push for that in the future. So
Yeah.
um, if people I think you're a good example for people that are interested, and you giving good examples here of a path to follow. So thanks for coming on.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me.